Accounts Receivable Allocation Inquiry Sapphire 1. By selecting the Receivables drop-down, in our inquiries we have transactions and we have allocations. Within the allocations, this allows us to allocate any of our receivables transactions. In this case, I'm going to select one transaction, which is a client receipt for a particular customer, and I'm going to select allocation. I'm going to match that for the $1,100 and I'm going to green tick that. You'll now see it's 100% allocated in the allocated column of $1,100. If I go back into allocations, I can unallocate that, green tick it, and now you'll see the percentage is zero and the amount is unallocated. Now, if I select a number of records here, and I've selected 3 records and I've selected one other record, and I go to allocations, and now what I can do is I can allocate each one of those simultaneously. So I select the first one, $1,100, second one, $2,200, and the third one, $3,300. Green tick that, and those 3 transactions are now allocated. What I'd like to do is select that fourth one that I selected earlier, and select allocation, and I can go and allocate that. By selecting it, in this case, I click on it and I hold down the Command key on Mac or Control key on Windows, and I can do a partial allocation. So I select a particular amount, and I can then go and change that amount if I want. I can also do a discount if I wish as well. If I now click OK, that will partially allocate that amount, so I'm not fully allocating it. And you'll see there that it's been partially allocated for $55. If I go back in there now and reallocate it, I can allocate it for the full 110. I've also got the ability, if I pick a different amount now and I go to the allocation inquiry for a different customer, I can do a function here in the apply. I can either do bottom up, or I can select that alternatively, and I can untick that, and I can select top down. So I've got the ability here to use a tool that automatically allocates whether I want bottom up or top down. I've also got the same amount and internal reference, etc. So if I go and green tick that now, that's fully allocated, that particular amount. I can go and select another transaction that I want to allocate, and this time I'm randomly, by holding the Command key down on Mac or Control key down on Windows, I can randomly select a group of records, and I can go through and allocate each one of those. In this case, I only allocated one out of the several that I had there. Alternatively, I can also do allocations from the transaction inquiry. So here I can use the tool, and I've gone show subset, or there's a keyboard command called Command G or Control G on a Windows box, and I can allocate that to 0%. If I now select that and look at the allocation tab within the transaction, I can see that there's nothing allocated for that particular invoice. If I go back in and reallocate that, I can actually do an allocation from within my normal transaction inquiry. So 2 ways of getting that, and I can see it's now fully allocated. I've got the same ability if I go back to my allocation inquiries now, and I've got the same ability to double click on any transaction, and I can go in and look at that. And here I'm going to go and allocate that. So I'm going to go and allocate that for the full amount, and I'll use the bottom up feature. So I've allocated that from the bottom up, green ticket. Now I simply go and look at that transaction, click on the allocation tab, and I can see all the client invoices that it's been allocated against. I can also swap the custom inquiry just like I can in any transaction inquiry screen, and I can go and select whatever fields that I want from the entire table. In this case, it's the table for allocations transactions. This has been demonstrated today on Sapphire 1's Bondi Blue. Thank you for taking the time.